नमस्कार केशव जी, नमस्कार एवरीवन।
हरिः ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। अभ्रमं भङ्गरहितम् अजडं विमलं सदा आनन्दतीर्थमतलं भजे तापत्रयापहं मिथ्यासिद्धान्तदुद्ध्वान्तविध्वंसनः जयतीर्थाकृतनिर्भासतां नोहदम्बरे अत्तिकृतकल्पोऽयं प्रत्यत्यगतकेसरी व्यासतीर्थगुरुभूयात् अस्मदिष्टातसिद्धये तपोविद्याविरक्त्यादि सद्गुणोगाकरानं वादिराजगुरून् वन्दे गीतदाश्रयान् पूज्य राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनवे दुर्वायुध्वान्तरवे वैष्णवेन्दीवरेन्दवे श्रीराघवेन्द्रगुरुवे नमोऽत्यन्त्याळवे आपादमणिपर्यन्तं गुरूणामाप्तिं स्मरेत् तेन विज्ञाः प्रणश्यन्ति सिद्धिं मनोरथाः। हरिः ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. We are doing Bhagavad Gita, third adhyaya, and there, uh, especially in the 30th sloka, third adhyaya, 30th sloka, while doing that, this is a very popular and very well-known uh, segment where Acharya in Tatparya has mentioned about that Naham Karta Harikarta. So that one we went through that uh, and is a very important concept because that it talks about the very popular view where a lot of people think that either we have this swatantrya or we have a little bit of swatantrya. Either they think that we have full free will or a little free will. And it is very, very inconceivable and very difficult to understand that there is no free will at all. Hey, we are not like inert object. We are not jada, we are chetanas. How can we be functioning, doing things without any free will? So, in that context, an important concept we talked about it, the doership and the free will, the two different things. We do not have free will, but we have doership. So then question came, what is doership or kartrutva? There's no point in saying kartrutva means doership, doership means kartrutva means still, it's not clear. So we have to have a clear understanding of what is kartrutva or doership. And if we take an example, like a king asks the servant to take a chair and take this chair and put it in that place, in a different place. And the servant blindly obeys the king. So who has actually done that action of taking the chair and putting somewhere else? The servant has done it. Okay, the control is from the king, but the one who actually did was the servant. The servant doesn't have any freedom or free will in doing that. There we see the person doing there, and the king is controlling him, but he is controlling in a limited sense. He is giving commands from outside. The king is not present inside the servant. The control is only from outside, not from inside. But if in case of Paramatma, and he making the jivas do it, the control is both from inside and outside. So if suppose something happens because the person puts the chair there, will the people blame the king or the servant? They will say, oh, is the king's fault? Nobody will say they are afraid. Whereas servant, oh, it's the servant's fault. But the servant say, I just obeyed the king. Why should I be held responsible? In this case is even bigger thing where Paramatma is controlling us from inside, from outside also. Why are we held responsible? Paramatma is responsible. Why should I be held responsible? This question comes to everybody's mind. But think it in this way. We go to a temple or whatever, we ask a Purohit to do yajna or homa on our behalf. So the harvest is put, Purohit does everything. We just sit there, watch. So everything is done by the Purohit. And who has done the yajna homa? Purohit then. So the result of that homa yajna should go to the Purohit. But the Purohit at the beginning says, let this, everything, all the effect or phala of this karma, yajna karma, it should go to the person who has sponsored or who has ever, no, for whose sake is being. So it is not who he is doing, but for whose sake it is done. So we take the results, we take the response, we take everything, we take the phala, though someone else is doing it. In a similar way, Paramatma is doing all right. And he is making us do it like a mechanically, like a mother holding the child's hands and doing it. In that way, we don't see him all right, but we see his power functioning. So Paramatma has nothing to do with it in the sense he doesn't have to gain or benefit. There's no benefit for him. The benefit is only for us. So, and also it gives the impression because we don't see the Paramatma's physical being there, we think we are doing it. The Ahankara, Mamakaras come to us. I am doing it. It's my thing, my greatness, my achievement, my mind, mine. This thought comes to us all the time. Paramatma gives that feelings also to us, and the phala of that, the fruits of all that also is given to us. So the free will or what we call swatantra actually is not exact translation. Independence or swatantra is not there with us, it's there with Paramatma. But actual execution of the action, that's the doership, kartrutva, means the person who is doing it is only we are doing it. But we are being driven into that. So, since the action is done for our sake, we are reaping the fruits or results of it. And we do not have swatantra, but it gives sometimes the delusion that we have this some swatantra. Hey, I want to lift my hand, I am lifting. I want to go to that place, I am going. I am making a decision. Where is Paramatma coming in all here? He is not making any decision. I am the one who is making decision. But the anta preraka shakti, the instigation that comes from inside, we can never perceive it. Even though, sometimes you feel that experience. We are driven into an action. We don't want to do it, but we do it. Sometimes it happens, rarely, but we are driven into that. So the invisible controlling force is Paramatma, all right, but it is done for our sake. Through us, we are like a tools acting, and because of that, we only reap the results. Oh, it should all go to the Paramatma. He's making us do it. He's making us do it all right, but for our own sake, for our own sadhana, as per our jiva swabhava. So, this separation of actual execution of the action and the decision making is very crucial and very difficult to understand also. Over a period of time, by doing more and more manana process, we can probably explain. That's how the Gyan is great rishis and all. They could realize the working of Paramatma from inside. And not only working of Paramatma, even the Tattvabhimani Devatas who are in between us and Paramatma, they actually see the hand of Paramatma. Still, even though they have more decision making power than us, they themselves feel helpless, whereas we are even much lower level than the Tattva Abhimani Devatas, but we think that we are doing it. That is because the lesser the realization, the more the Ahankara and Mamakaras come into the picture. The more the realization, the less Ahankara and Mamakara comes into picture. I am the doing or mine or whatever, that Abhimana comes down. That is why when it came to Vayudeva, who is at much highest level, he is able to see that completely, and that's why he is able to not only give the statement, but experience it. Naham karta harik karta tat puja karma cha akhilam. This concept is completely digested, and they experience that every time, though he is making us do even the swasa, uchwasa, niswasa, the respiration. We are alive because of Mukhya Prana. In spite of that, the same Mukhya Prana, when he takes the avatara, or even in other avatars like Hanuma, Bhima, Madhva, in everywhere, he is able to see the superpower of Paramatma. He is able to experience Naham Karta Bhava. And for us, it is becoming difficult because we do not see the hand of Paramatma. But the Shastras help us in realizing that and in separating this actual execution of the action and the decision making or the instigation or the driving force that is invisible to us, but that is the one ultimate making decision. But we pay the result, we get the fruits, we get all that because it is done for our sake, not for his sake. That's why we go through the anubhava, experience, and we reap the results, fruits, everything happens to us. So that is a very important, crucial concept. So that's why we spent a little bit of time on that. And after giving that, in the 31st sloka of the third chapter, Krishna says that two slokas, that is 31 and 32, Krishna emphasizes how important this is and how one should do it. ఏమే మతమిదం నిత్యమనుతిష్ఠन्ति మానవాः శ్రద్ధావంతో న సూయంతో ముహ్యంతే తేపి కర్మభిః. Even no, all this may matam here is a very nice expression. Ye, those people who know that idam me matam, this one is my matam is normally general meaning is opinion. This is my opinion. And whoever nityam anutishtanti manavaha, ye manavaha nityam anutishtanti, those people who always follow this as I instructed, how they should follow? Shraddhavantaha anasuyantaha. So they should become Shraddhavantas and Anasuyavantas. What are these two expressions? Shraddha, Astikya Buddhi. So Shraddha means the firm belief that Paramatma is present, he exists, he is functioning, he is working through us, he is controlling from inside and outside. So I totally surrender to him. That's the only way for him. So this Buddhi called Astikya Buddhi. And Shraddha is nothing but that Astikya Buddhi. Whoever has this Shraddha, Shraddhavantaha, and Anasuyantaha, na Asuyantaha. See, Asuya normally, the normal meaning, the popular meaning is jealous. But it's not that jealousy. Here, Asuya is basically Suyantaha means those who find Asuyantaha or those who accuse, oh, Paramatma is doing that. He is responsible. Why should I pay for water? So here, why is he making me do all this? This difficult task. He is giving me torturing. He is putting in samsara. He is unnecessarily bothering me. He is troubling me. So this feeling is what is called Asuya Bhava. And whoever that is actually in another way is blaming Paramatma. Whatever is happening, oh, it is his. He may God caused me these problems. God is making all this trouble to me. So blaming the God all the time is this Dushana Swabhava is called Asuya. And those who do not blame God, hey, as per my Swabhava, as per my karma phala, as per my whatever is due to me, God is giving to me. God has nothing to do with benefit from that. He is not doing because of some selfish ends. There is no selfishness of God. He is doing as per whatever I deserve. This feeling, total surrender to God, when it happens, this feeling comes. That those people are called Anusuyavanta, not Asuyavanta. They give up this Dushana Swabhava or Dushana behavior, they give up. And what happens if they do it? Ye manavaha ittam anutishtanti. Those who ever behave like this, do the anusthana like this, they api muchyante karmabhi. They get relieved from the bondage of the karma, from this bondage of life and death cycle. They get freedom from the samsara. They will be on the way to moksha. So Krishna is standing a guarantee. He is saying, whoever, without blaming the all supreme deity, he is saying, me means I, my matam. And he is saying, that means he is the supreme being. There is no other supreme being greater than him. So that's the opinion Krishna is giving. In our case, in Laukik, we say, hey, this is my opinion, but the fact may be different. Our opinion and the fact in our life, our day-to-day life may be different. My opinion need not be a fact. But when it comes to Paramatma, when he says this is my opinion, that is a fact also. Because he is Satya Swarupa, Satya Sankalpa, Satya Varenya. He is the personification of truth, just as he is a personification of knowledge and bliss. He is also the personification of truth, Satya Swarupa. And whatever his abhipraya is, the Satya abhipraya is also Satya Sankalpa. It is truth only. So in our case, opinion and the fact may differ. In case of Paramatma, his opinion is a fact also. This is my opinion. When he's saying this is a fact, both are equivalent in case of Paramatma. So that me matam, my opinion, has to be taken as, if it is Paramatma's opinion, then it is a fact also. So this is my opinion. And whoever follows this path, they will be relieved from this cycle of life and death. They will be relieved from the bandha of karma. So this bondage will be taken out from them. So this is those who believe him. And this is what is called Anvaya. Vyatireka, that means those who do not believe in this, who do not follow this path, what happens to them is given in the next sloka. So these two slokas are called Anvaya Vyatireka, means positive concomitance and negative concomitance. The positive concomitance is those who ever follow this path will go and progress and eventually be relieved from the cycle. Those who do not follow, what happens to them? He says, Ye tu, tukara. That means, on the other hand, those who ye tu etad abhyasuyantaha. So, anasuyantaha, opposite is abhyasu, abhitaha asuyantaha. Always blaming the God. So, in the earlier one, not those who do not blame God. Here, they always blame God. Whoever do not follow my thing and keeps blaming the Paramatma, abhyasuyanta, na anutishtanti. There, nityam anutishtanti in the previous. Here, na anutishtanti, me matam. This my opinion, which is also a fact. Whoever do not do the anushtana, following, those who do not follow this, for them, sarva jnana vimudhan tan vidhi nashtana chetasaha. Arjuna realized that if they do not follow, that means they are sarva jnana vimudha. Realize that tan vidhi, realize that what happens to them as, because they are sarvajnana vimudha. There's two way you can say sarvajnana vimudha means jnana vimudha, devoid of the knowledge, and because of the delusion is caused. All the full delusion, sarvam is completely deluded, complete absence of knowledge. One way. Another is sarva. Paramatma is sarva sharva shiva sthanur bhutadir nidhiravyeha. Vishnu Sahasranama says sarva is name of Paramatma. He is everything. He is Purna, infinite. So he is Sarvaha. This jnana is not there. Sarva jnana vimudhan. Whoever are devoid of this knowledge that Paramatma is Sarva, he is all complete, all powerful, and he controls this. But he does all this not as a fun making for him, but as a benefit for us. And those who are deluded and not realize, they do not realize this. They are Sarvajnana Vimudha. Those are the Sarvajnana Vimudhas. Tan Vidhi Nashtana Chetasaha. The word that is used is Nashtana Chetasaha. Chetasaha is their existence itself. Nashtana, that means mm, in every aspect, they will lose everything and go to the hellish regions. Nashtana, that means their Cheta Swarupa itself, their Swarupa itself is on the way to destruction. They are on the path of destruction. What is the path of destruction? The path of destruction is nothing but going to the Naraka Adi Anartha Prasanga. That means they go to hell temporarily now, and if they are very bad, very evil, they continue from Janma after Janma after Janma, several Janmas, They blame God all the time. They have a dislike, hatred towards God. They can go eventually to even much lower worlds, Andhantamasa, whatever, depending upon the intensity of their bad attitude, which is inherent in their swabhava. Not in one janma they do something wrong, they were driven to no. Paramatma is not cruel like that. Those who hate him means he is personification of bliss. Hating the bliss is nothing but moving away from the bliss. So they people are comfortable moving away and away from Paramatma means moving away from bliss. That's why they are driving themselves to Anantamas in one way indirect. But Paramatma is so impartial. He will give everything as per the swabhava and karma of the jivas. So this is what is going to happen. That means it is not only an advice to Arjuna, but it is advice to all. Of course, in case of Arjuna, he is Devaswarupa. As you know, Krishna says further down, the 16th chapter and all, Daivi Sampat, he has, Arjuna is, so this is not actually telling Arjuna, oh, don't do this, don't do this in keeping Arjuna as a pretext. This is an advice given to all the others who have not yet become Aparokshaka. In case of Arjuna, he is already Aparokshaka, he is Mukti Yogya Jiva. For him, all these things do not apply. He will never go to hell. There is no hellish journey to Arjuna at all. But this is in the form of instruction to Arjuna. Krishna is telling what is going to happen to such people. So this is actually a very useful and an appropriate tool for all the people who ever follow the instruction of Gita. So this is how Krishna emphasizes to Arjuna the importance of the jnana, knowledge. And in this context, in the next class, we'll continue where we'll talk about the jnana, karma, how they are linked, can both lead to moksha, either jnana, because a lot of times the confusion is there, jnana marga, karma marga, bhakti marga, different margas see there, people can choose whatever they want, and all this kind of confusing statements some are possible. So we will talk about that in the next class. Hare Srinivasa. Any questions are there? You can feel free to ask. Hare Srinivasa.
Namaskara, Guruji.
Yeah.
Guruji, I had a general question.
Yeah.
Now, this delusion that we talked about, is that what we call Maya? And also, which aspect of Prakriti is Maya, or is Prakriti itself referred to as Maya?
Yeah, it's a very good question and a very loaded question too. The Maya word has many meanings, and contextually we have is Maya responsible means Maya is Prakriti, is Chetana Prakriti is also called Maya, Jada Prakriti is also called Maya, Paramatma's Icha is also called Maya, the illusion also is called Maya, but just because the illusion is called Maya, Paramatma's Icha is called Maya, we cannot say Paramatma's Icha is illusion because they are totally different meanings, almost like giving opposite. Sometimes people, the word can have two opposing meanings. So these are different meanings, and which meaning we should take whenever we talk about Maya? Context tells us which one we have to take. For example, is Maya responsible for us? Yes, Maya in the form of Chetana Prakriti can. So because Shri Bhu Durga we talk about that Lakshmi has multiple forms. Durga is one of the forms of Lakshmi. And in Durga form, Lakshmi, what she does is, as a Tamo Abhimani, Sattva, Rajas, Tamo gunas are there. As Sattva Abhimani, she is Shri. At Rajo Abhimani, she is Bhu. And as Tamo Abhimani, she is Durga. As Tamo Abhimani, what she does is, whoever deserves to be deluded, she gives the delusion to them. So that way, Chetana Prakriti, who is nothing but Lakshmi, is also called Chetana Prakriti, is also called Maya. That Lakshmi Maya, what she does was, she uses the Jada Prakriti, which is also called Maya. Maya means Jada Prakriti also is called Maya. So this Jada Prakriti she uses, using the Jada Prakriti, she influences the jivas and make them to do bad things, to do whatever, some of the wrong things that we do as Tamo Abhimani, she makes the jivas do wrong things. At Sattva Abhimani, same Lakshmi will do something else. So she is responsible for, or she is acting through both, all three, Sattva, Rajas, Tamo gunas, all three ways she is functioning. So as Maya, Lakshmi Devi, Chetana Prakriti, uses the Maya, Jada Prakriti, and all this she does as per the Maya of Paramatma. That means the Icha, the will of Paramatma is also called Maya. Maya means Icha or will of the Paramatma. That is also called, that sits at the top. Chetana Prakriti Lakshmi is at the next level. Jada Prakriti Lakshmi is at a third level. And the illusion Maya is different. So the illusion Maya, in a way, some circumstances it is used. We cannot say this whole world is an illusion because it is driven by Maya, Lakshmi Devi, and it's driven by Maya, the Icha of Paramatma. So this world is a Maya. Illusion means no, it's not. Satyam Jagat. The Rigveda itself says Satyam Jagat. So Satyam Manvana Jagat. So this Jagat Satyatva is present in Upanishad. So we cannot say that this world is a Maya or illusion. But we should definitely say that the Lakshmi Maya acts through the Jadaprakriti Maya as per the Maya, the will of the Paramatma, and controls the Jivas and drives them whatever is appropriate for the Swabhava of the Jiva. So
Uh,
contextually, we'll go. Yeah.
yeah, Guruji. So does that mean that for different people with different swabhavas, the Maya experienced is different for each one of them, or?
Yes, Maya, as I said, as per the Swabhava. So if there are some good jivas, the way Maya functions on them is different. So the Maya makes them do certain things. She may little bit put them a little bit away, this way, that way, sway them a little bit. But the Maya will not, the Lakshmi Rupa Maya will not put them in completely wrong path for a long time, maybe for a short time. Whereas a bad jiva, bad Swabhava jiva is there, the Lakshmi Maya, she will make them do wrong things for a much longer time, much frequently, much more. So, as you said, different jivas will act differently because the Maya makes them do differently because of the Swabhava of the jivas.
Guruji. Now the reason for that, is it because it is for the jiva to ultimately realize and surrender to Paramatma? Is that the reason why something like this
The
is?
reason is only to give the results as per. So the jiva realizing will happen if this is what like a test paper. So the jiva realizing and going and changing happens for all the good jivas. But the bad jiva will never realize. It will develop more and more hatred. Hey, something wrong happening to me. Oh, why is God making this wrong? That's why we talked about today abhisuyantaha, anasuyantaha. That is what is. They blame God. So the bad jiva will never realize it. The realization comes for only those who are willing to realize it as per
Now,
their swabhava.
yeah, Guruji, now the bad jivas, like eventually will they come around, or
No,
I
they will
mean,
not. If they're really bad jiva, if it's there inherent, inground in their swabhava, the
I
swabhava will not change. Because if suppose, just imagine, oh, even the bad jiva, very like for example, Kalipurusha. Oh, eventually Kalipurusha realizes and becomes a good guy means not. Because the reason is, if the Kalipurusha realizes and becomes a good person, then it is as good as the old Kalipurusha or the prior Kalipurusha is dying and a new Kalipurusha is not actually a bad guy, a good Kalipurusha is coming. So that will never happen. The bad one eventually will realize will not happen, because if it happens, it is as good as killing the jiva and a new jiva creating is not good for the jiva. That means you are actually thinking of the jiva dying and a new jiva coming in its place. So eventually realizing is some of the philosophies they talk about it, which may look very good on the surface of it. But think about it. If that really happens, it is as good as that jiva getting destroyed and in its place a new jiva coming into the picture. But no jiva will get destroyed. That is why the eventual realization is not possible if it is inground in the swabhava of the jiva, because it is part of the jiva. It is not something outside. Suppose it's outside the jiva, then it can throw away the bad, get the good thing in. It can happen if it's outside, but it is part of the jiva. The evilness of the Kalipurusha, for example, is the part of the jiva itself. So eventually, if the jiva realizing does not apply to the inherently evil jivas, it will apply to whom the mixed ones are there. Like people like us, we may do something wrong and say, "Oh, I did wrong. It's very bad." I no, we repent, we give it up, and next time we do good thing. So that it helps the people who are on the path of the good. But for the ones who are firm on the path of the evil, they do not want to leave the path of the evil. No matter how many troubles come, no matter what punishment comes, no matter what happens to them, they will never be willing to give up their bad ways because it is inground in the swabhava. So they will never eventually becoming good is not possible, because if it really happens, eventually they become good. It is as good as the original bad jiva dying, and its place a new good jiva is coming in its place. But that is not good at all for the jiva. I mean, no jiva will be willing to die completely. I mean, of course, it never happens. Jivas are anadi ananta. That means from beginningless time they are there, they will exist until endless time. There, because Paramatma is protecting the jiva. He is inside the jiva as Bimbarupi and make sure that the jiva does not get destroyed, which includes not changing the swabhava of the jiva.
Just one more doubt, Guruji.
Sure.
Now, for example, in cases like Sage Valmiki, like compared to his previous, like the earlier part of his life, where he is a totally different kind of person,
Mhm.
or maybe in some jiva where through spiritual sadhana, if they are able to change some of their, I don't know if, is it even possible to change their innate characteristics?
Yeah, it's a good question. Not only Valmiki, we have the Ajamila. Ajamila, as you know, the story Ajamila, he was a very good guy in the very his childhood. Then as he is coming out of childhood itself, he gets to bad ways for several years. He goes on the bad ways, all does bad things, very bad things, so many bad things he does. But Paramatma, this is actually a temporary, because he's originally a good jiva. Temporarily he moved out of from the good path to the bad path. So Paramatma brings him back to his original path, which is fit for him. So there's a transformation that comes to him. He becomes a good guy. In case of Valmiki also, the Kirata or whatever he is there, he is originally a good jiva only. Temporarily moved out, comes back again and goes in his path. That is comfortable path for him. Same thing the other side. For the bad jiva, they are on the bad path and temporarily they may do something good, but they are uncomfortable with that. If they, for example, imagine Duryodhana, he is doing or do some dana, dharma, whatever, he does it with so reluctance. Oh, I'm doing dana so that I will get them attracted to me and I will use them to destroy the Pandavas. That is his ultimate goal. He may appear to do some good things, but it is not with good intention. The intentions are bad only. So that same thing, good jivas temporarily doing bad things is similar to bad jivas doing temporarily good things. That means not that there is a transformation in Duryodhana. There is no transformation. He may temporarily do some good things, but he will come back to his original bad. Same way, good jivas is temporarily they may do some bad things, but eventually they come back to their good path. They will eventually come back. That's why when their sadhana is complete, good ones will be on the good path, bad ones will be on the bad path.
Okay, understood. Thank you very much, Guruji, for the detailed and beautiful explanation.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Hare Srinivasa. प्रातः प्रभृति सायांतं सायादि प्रातरं तथा यत्क्रमं जगन्नाथ ततस्तुतौ पूजनं. हरे श्रीनिवास. नमस्कार.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಮಾಮ.
नमस्कार.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಹರೇ ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ ಮಾಮ.
हरे श्रीनिवास.
ಹರೇ ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ರೀ.
नमस्कार.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಹರೇ